All right, so at about 2:30 this afternoon, we were notified of a brush fire in the Badger Lake area. Responders showed up to a well-established wildfire that was spreading quickly to the northeast. Conditions currently out on the fire and throughout the afternoon have been difficult, with high winds, high temps, and access challenges for firefighters were difficult. Broken, rocky terrain. Fires burning in light grass, ponderosa pine. Fire at this time is currently projected over 300 acres, with half of the fire sitting roughly north of Williams Lake Road and the other half sitting south of Williams Lake Road. Fires continuing to progress to the northeast with wind pushing the fire. Firefighters have been engaged heavily with life safety, really conducting evacuations and doing point protection around the homes. Fire continues to spread rapidly. It's torching, spotting, moving through the grass very quickly. Multiple agencies on scene. Spokane County Fire District 3, of course, in our jurisdiction, with assistance from Washington Department of Natural Resources, but agencies from all over the county assisting as well, including multiple fire districts, Turnbull Wildlife Refuge, and resources inbound from across the state of Washington to come offer assistance. There's almost a dozen aircraft on the fire right now, including single-engine air takers, very large air takers, helicopters, air attack, all doing their best to try and contain the fire as quickly as possible. There's been a lot of questions around the fire engine that was burned over during operations today. All the firefighters were able to escape, and no injuries reported as of yet, so we're thankful they're all out, but it does appear that the vehicle will be a total loss. Also report at this time of 2 structures lost. We're not aware if they're primary residences or not. Part of the challenge we're dealing with right now is the smoke conditions affecting visibility. Firefighters are still really challenged by the rates of spread, the spotting, torching, and wind on the fire, pushing the fire east at this time quite hard. As I left the fire line, it was pushing against Long Road, which is just east of Cheney Plaza, Rock Lake Road, moving to the east, northeast, south of Chapman Lake. Current priorities on the fire are continue to conduct evacuations, ensure we're getting the community out ahead of the fire as quickly as possible. We've been coordinating with the Sheriff's Office, who's doing a terrific job with all their personnel, getting folks out, helping to control access on the roads so we can move firefighters around as quickly and efficiently as possible. At this time, it's reported that approximately 39 residences are under a level 3 evacuation, and again, trying to get accurate projections of fire size, exact number of residences is challenging with the smoke conditions obscuring visibility out there on the line. So we've checked the latest forecast, and it calls for winds to lessen around 8 o'clock. So right about now tonight, and we're hoping that will give firefighters an opportunity to contain the fire. But as of right now, suppression has been really challenging, given the torching, spotting, and some of the fuel conditions on the ground. Our grasses, as most people know, are at record highs. And 28 years of fighting fire, I've never seen them like this, and so it's really proved to be challenging for firefighters out on the ground. Any questions?
Are you able to give any approximate containment at this time?
Right now we're probably in the 0 to 10% range. We've made some good progress on the south end of the fire near the point of origin, and firefighters are working those flanks, trying to cool those edges. But right now we're challenged with staffing on the fire, number of personnel, so we're moving those firefighters strategically up to those residences and to where the people are, trying to ensure that they're out and try to provide point protection around the home. So it's a bit of stop and bump and move on to the next home, try to get the fire around it and coordinate those actions. And they have had a lot of good success around the homes, so we're thankful for that. But we've got a Type 3 team that's coming in with additional resources this evening, and we also have an approved state MOB request that is also going to bring in additional resources from across the state.
Can you talk more about the structures that were lost, and what's that process like notifying the property owner, and have you notified them? So
notifications are not complete, as you can imagine, during the initial phases of the incident with firefighters moving around quickly. They do a quick radio report that confirms structure's gone. It's difficult to assess sometimes with when a building's burnt and really not there anymore, so it's difficult to know if you're looking at a primary residence or maybe an outbuilding. So they just report that as a structure loss.
Saw in the release from the state that approximately 400 residents, or I know you just said 39, but you able to clarify?
Yeah, so great question, because we often get asked, well, who's under, how many homes under a level 3? So when I give the 39 or 40 homes, those are the ones that are actually under notification level 3, which means our evacuation levels are 1, 2, 3. It's a ready, set, go. And so once you're at level 3, that's the highest. It means go, get out. So we have almost 40 homes at that level. But we also have to assess how many homes are at risk right now based on the projected fire spread. And so I've been saying approximately 100 structures at this time. That's not all primary residences per se. That's outbuildings and other things. But again, really rocky, broken terrain, difficult for firefighters to see exactly where that leading edge of the fire is, and even very difficult for our aircraft to see where that leading edge of the fire is. So we use really rough numbers and saying approximately 100 that we think are immediately threatened, and if containment efforts are not successful, that number will continue to grow.
You talk about those airplanes. You didn't have those little airplanes at those lakes that were really close. I timed them. They were grabbing that water every 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, so impressive. It is. So those are the single engine air takers that we talk about. They're we call them the Fire Boss, but they have they're incredibly agile, and they have what we call a very quick return rate. So they're able to grab more water, get it back to the fire very quickly, and that's where they really excel. So they're highly maneuverable. They can work with our air operations folks on the ground and get down very low, because they're almost like a crop duster, and they carry anywhere from 600 to 700 gallons of water depending on where they're at in the fuel cycle. So we've got those aircraft going. We've also got a lot of helicopters with buckets dropping water, and we also had the very large air tankers coming from we had one from Moses Lake and one from Sacramento, which are some of the largest retardant planes in our nation's fleet. So we've gotten very good assistance given what we call values at risk, the number of people and homes in the area. So we're getting a lot of national aircraft in to assist firefighting efforts. And so those aircraft have been successful where they could get in and find that fire's edge, and firefighters were able to come in and follow that on the ground. But the column is leaned over really hard right now to the east as the wind, as you can imagine, like a campfire with wind on it. Just imagine a larger scale. That smoke column is turned over going to the east. Firefighters requesting assistance from aircraft, but the pilot's unable to see their location.
So at this point, would you say fighting the fire from the ground is the most effective way, or is it really everything working together?
I would say it's a combination, because we know aircraft are very effective, but they're only effective if ground resources are able to go in and follow that up. So when you see the retardant planes with the red retardant that comes out of the bottom, that can halt or pause the fire momentarily, and oftentimes that's the little bit of edge that our firefighters need to get in, bring the flame links down, and engage the fire.
Given the two structures that you said were obviously affected by this fire, are you letting people go home at this time? Have any of the evacuations been downgraded?
So no evacuations downgraded, and we're going the opposite direction. We're expanding to a level 2 that will encompass additional homes. Right now we're coordinating with the sheriff's office on that. So those 40 homes that are in the level 3 are all recommended that they're out, and I'd say that will last at a minimum through tonight. We anticipate the road closures along Williams Lake that essentially connects from Badger Lake over to Rock Lake / Cheney Plaza Road to remain closed. And as of my departure this evening, Cheney Plaza Road had fire all the way across it and pretty intense fire behavior through that. So as of right now, that north-south travel route is also closed.
And Chief, this started as a brush fire. Do we have any cause of investigation, or do we have any cause at this time?
Not at this time. Investigators are on scene, though, and cause is under investigation.
How many people you have working this fire? And can you talk a little more about that truck that was completely destroyed? Was it a Fire District 3? Was it DNR?
It's a partner agency, and that I imagine the agency will come out with a notification in the very near future, but one of our close partners that we work with all the time. And I can speak a little to number of firefighters. We're roughly 200 personnel out on the fire right now. And as it relates to their circumstances, initial reports, and again, probably more to follow, but they were going in to provide point protection and try to conduct evacuations. And on their ingress or their access route, as they came back to get themselves out of the area, the fire had flanked them and came around behind them, and their vision was obscured by smoke, and they had to make a quick decision to try and get out of there. And so I think they did the right thing, and they're all safe, and we're happy to report that, but it does sound like the vehicle will be a loss.
Is the heat at all contributing to your guys' response?
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. We've known that the potential has been here all year. All the conditions are present. Record high fuel on the ground, or fine fuels that really carry the fire and allow it to spread. And so they're the highest I've seen in 28 years of fighting fire. And so we knew the potential was here. We've had the high temps, low humidity. We had the winds today. And we always know when you combine high temps, receptive fuels, and wind here, it really challenges suppression efforts, particularly with the wind in this terrain, because we'll get lines established and the fire will spot well beyond or over the heads of the firefighters, and then you can have fire behind you or fire on either side. And so firefighters have had to be really agile today. They're moving a lot, just continual spot fires where they establish a line and then the fire gets across that. And of course the winds allow those embers to loft up out of the column, and some of those can be a quarter mile or more ahead of where the firefighters are at.
Do you mean the grass is the tallest it's been? Okay.
Yeah. In my career, and I don't have, I haven't taken annual measurements to back that up, but it's the highest I can recall in the last decade here for sure. We're seeing grass in places that's waist deep, pretty common, and then in other places we get into the wetter areas, there's grass that's over your head.
Can you speak to the significance of having the briefing here at Cheney Middle School? Is this a shelter? I saw some porta potties and bathrooms being put up.
Yeah. So Cheney School District has been a great partner in this area with all the fire departments and Department of Natural Resources. They've been a gracious host, and this venue here, this location is battle tested. And what I mean by that is this is a great place to support ongoing operations and support our firefighters logistically with the influx of resources that we have coming in from across the state, and a fire that we know is going to last multiple days, multiple duration. We need somewhere where we can support the firefighters, take care of them, support them logistically. There's going to be an incident management team in place that will help manage the entire fire. And they need not only logistics, but they need the connectivity and data and all those other things to really support those folks out on the ground. So this location is predetermined. It's one of the locations that's pre-identified prior to fire season, so that when the time comes, we make the call. And Cheney School District has always been great. They got this set up and ready to go on a moment's notice this afternoon. So we're really appreciative of that.
So those who are being evacuated, where are they coming here, or where are they?
So right now, not aware of any efforts from Red Cross or anybody to locate that, but those questions will be asked to ensure that we have good locations for those people to go.
Approximately how many people have been displaced right now?
No, I don't have the exact count per household.
Is there a livestock evacuation center?
So there's a lot of livestock in the area, and firefighters are trying to move them out, but just a lot of reports of cattle in the area. And of course, firefighters are doing their best, but it's challenging from the standpoint of there's really more fire than firefighters, and their number one priority right now is focusing on the people, our community, out there and getting them out. And so our primary efforts this afternoon have been related to that. But firefighters do mention when they have an opportunity, they see cattle, they can help them move out of the way to the extent possible. And a lot of times they do a pretty good job of moving on their own, but they can become entrapped.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.